Okay, so I just want to give my opinion about the Israeli occupation and the genocide of the Palestinian people. And I know this is probably not going to rub people the right way, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to have to keep it real. Um, Israel is 100% wrong. Israel is occupying land which doesn't belong to them. Now, they want to use the Holocaust as an excuse, right? Because they were persecuted in Europe, that they. And I'm not going to get into the background because if I were to say the real truth, this live stream would be taken down. My channel would probably be deleted. So there's a lot of information that you guys are not going to be privy to. So you don't have all the information. That doesn't mean that you can't get the information. The information is available. Maybe I can point you in the right direction for those of you who are interested. But suffice it to say, I'm not going to sit up here and tell y'all the grimy details of how Israel was established. But was, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Israel is not a legitimate state, even though it is recognized by the international community. Um, I understand the history. I've researched these things. And they are terrorizing the Palestinian people. They are practicing genocide. They are racist. They're not only racist against Palestinians, but they're also racist against the Black Jews who are in Israel. So a lot of well, I appreciate that, but I'm not going to give myself too much credit because I'm not going to say too much. I already know how the censorship is on YouTube. If I were to say too much, this video would be taken down. So I can't tell y'all the truth. You're going to have to research the truth for yourself. But they are racist as hell, not only against the Palestinians, but they're also racist against the Black Ethiopian Jews who are in Israel. Um, they literally pick up dog shit and throw feces at these Black Jews. And a lot of these videos were on YouTube back maybe 10 years ago, but they have been taken down. So it's a lot of censorship going on. Netanyahu is not giving citizenship to the Black Ethiopian Jews. Um, they're basically forced to work as cheap labor, and they don't recognize them. I mean, according to Netanyahu, Israel is supposed to be, if you're Jewish, then you're supposed to get automatic citizenship. But if you're Black, then you don't get automatic citizenship, even though you are Jewish. Um, a lot of people don't know this. You have what's his name? O'Shea making this video basically trying to throw shade at Candace Owens for condemning Israel. Gosh, man, Black people need to wake the hell up. I mean, again, I'm not telling y'all to speak up on behalf of the Palestinians. You shouldn't. And I'm sorry for those who feel like I'm taking the coward way out. But yeah, at the same time, you still should be woke about what's going on. Um, yeah, well, they're selling out. We have a lot of politicians like Cory Booker trying to. He basically sold the Black community out, trying to convince. He went to APAC trying to give them advice on how to convince Black people to support Palestine. I mean Israel, excuse me. The reason why that was a slip of the tongue because I don't recognize Israel as a legitimate state. To me, Israel is just an occupying force. So to me, I consider Israel to be occupied Palestine. Now, I want to give this. I want to talk about this video. This okay. First of all, let me show y'all this clip. Gosh, why is this not coming up? Okay, I'm going to show this clip first, and then I'm going to.
I'm a recent graduate from Georgetown Law. I was offered a job at Foley and Lardner, and my employment was terminated actually the day before I was set to start. I was recently called into a meeting with the head partners at Foley and Lardner, in which I was literally interrogated on my social media.
Okay, this is someone, I believe she's a law student or a law grad. Either way, she basically got blacklisted for speaking up on behalf of Palestine. This is a Muslim Arab woman, right? Now I've spoken out publicly about issues, not even about Israel, but this about issues affecting the Black community, and I have been blacklisted. So, yeah, as someone who has actually put in the work and actually stuck my neck out speaking on public issues, don't do it, Miss Silly. Don't trade places with what I've been through.
posts related to Palestine, on my involvement with SJP, and just other aspects of my identity and background in general. I was even asked like whether I condemn Hamas in the October 7th attacks, and they framed my advocacy for Palestine as supporting terrorism. Foley and Lardner is a law firm that prides itself on diversity and inclusion, but I was targeted as one of the only Muslim Arab female associates in the law firm nationwide. And there are other attorneys at the law firm who advocated for Israeli violence.
And that's what I'm ultimately going to get to, right? Israel is 100% wrong, but these Muslims come over to America, these Arabs, and they sit up here and exploit black people. So even though Israel is wrong, I'm not sure that we should be speaking up on their behalf.
And express support for Israel, and they were not targeted or fired or even called into a meeting to be interrogated about their comments. So obviously, this standard was not applied holistically among attorneys. Sorry, when I walked into the meeting, they literally pulled out a packet about 15 to 20 pages about that had screenshots of my social media posts, screenshots of my involvement, my quotes.
Y'all be careful about what you post on social media, especially if you're using your real name. This is the reason why I'm reluctant to go live and show my face, because I've already been targeted based on things that I posted on social media. So don't do it, Miss Silly.
My background, literally everything that involves me and my background and my advocacy for Palestine. They then asked me a series of hostile questions about my support of Palestinian rights. And again, they asked me about like even my father and my involvement in organizations like SJP Chicago and LSJP at Georgetown Law, and asked me to condemn SJP's actions, which, as we know, they actually said that SJP is.
We have a lot of prominent Jewish celebrities now condemning black people for supporting Palestine. Again, Israel is 100% wrong, but why are we supporting Palestine? How about we just not say anything?
A terrorist organization. But SJP is a student organization with branches all over the country and has a long history of civil and nonviolent discourse. But they were almost pinning me, my involvement in SJP, to supporting terrorism. What's important to understand is that this incident is not exclusive to me, but
So because she spoke out on behalf of Palestine, now they're basically treating her like she's a terrorist.
is part of a broader pattern of attacks on people who express support for Palestinian rights or share views that are critical of Israelis' human rights violations. From the murder of Wadi al-Fayoumi to the shooting of 3 Palestinian students in Vermont to the attacks on employees and associates, it's clear that the U.S.'s foreign policy has created a very dangerous atmosphere for Palestinians and those who advocate for Palestinian rights. Zionists have literally, they quoted that Zionists have launched this war on associates. So punishing people over their speech or advocacy in support of Palestinian rights.
Guys, there's so much I want to say about the legal system. Basically, you don't have free speech as an attorney. There's character and fitness requirements that they have, and who's controlling the legal system? I'm not going to say who it is. Y'all going to have to do the math for yourself. But um, as an attorney, you don't have free speech. There's certain things that you say that can be used to basically either prevent you from obtaining a law license or having you disbarred. You don't. People don't know this because the practice of law is self-regulated. It's basically governed by other attorneys. It's going to be the state bar associations are run by attorneys. So it's basically a case of the fox guarding the hen house. They get to decide who gets to have a license. So they make their recommendations. How it usually works is the state bar association files a civil lawsuit to get either a declaratory judgment or an injunction, right? And then this lawsuit that they file goes before the state Supreme Court. And then the state Supreme Court acts upon the recommendations of the State Bar Association, and they can have you disbarred based on the recommendations from the State Bar. So don't do it. Don't do it. Don't risk your livelihood for these people.
And attempting to purge them from the law firms, from academia, from Hollywood and media, that's clear McCarthyism.
By the way, Cornell West, he didn't get his tenureship request was denied because he spoke out on behalf of Palestinians.
So to be honest, I personally relied on this job financially, and it's a huge blow to my career as an upcoming associate. But I mean it when I say I have no regrets and I will never regret being outspoken for Palestine.
Okay, she may not have any regrets because this is her community. Maybe she should speak on behalf of the Palestinians. But as a black person, this is not your community, right? If you're going to criticize Israel, then your criticism should be based on the treatment of black people who live in Israel because they are persecuting those black people. For you to be speaking up on behalf of Arabs is absolutely ridiculous. First of all, there are billionaires and I don't know, maybe trillionaires who are of Arab descent all across the globe. Why aren't any of these people helping the Palestinians, right? They can take the risk, they can take these people into their home countries, but they're not doing jack shit to help their own people, right? Um when these Arabs come to America, they start their businesses in black communities. That's what they always do. This is the okey doke. Every group of immigrants, they get rich off the black community. They start their businesses, and you know they treat black people like shit, right? You go into their little convenience stores, um, and they follow you around acting like you're stealing shit. Y'all, I mean, if you grow up in a black neighborhood, you know what the hell I'm talking about. But it's not just Arabs, because the Koreans do it too. It used to, well, the Jewish businesses don't really exist in black neighborhoods, but they used to exist also. Um, and then once they get enough money to put their children through law school, like this woman, then they abandon the black community. They never were a part of the black community in the first place. Then now they want to assimilate into the dominant society, forget all about black people who helped them to accumulate their wealth, and then they will turn around and oppress black people because when they give their law firms and their mega $1 million businesses, they're not doing shit to help the black community, right? Now Gaddafi is an exception. Gaddafi had trillions of dollars, which was stolen by Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton went into what country was that? Libya, and stole all that money. He stole all those gold bars and silver. And Gaddafi was supposed to be giving all this money to the Nation of Islam to help the black community, but that was basically thwarted by Hillary Clinton. And then they traced his body up and down the streets like some kind of public parade. What a disgrace. What an absolute disgrace. And Jill Stein was the only person running for president who actually condemned Hillary Clinton for the assassination of Gaddafi. Um, but outside of Gaddafi, I don't see any of these Arabs or these Muslims trying to help the black community. And in fact, in these Muslim countries, they're exploiting black people. There's modern day slavery going on. There's still colorist. Gosh, y'all. I'm just going to say don't do it. Don't do it. This is the reason why I'm going to say don't do it. I have a personal story to tell that I was at work and there was this guy from Iraq, right? And so I thought I was relating to him, as someone who was against the occupation of Iraq, against the Israeli government, against the centralized banking system. But don't assume that just because they're Muslims that they're woke. They're not. I mean, they can be the most oppressed people, and they still basically they worship America, they worship the U.S. dollar, and they're basically infidels. And the way that a lot of these Iraqis and Afghanistans were able to immigrate to America is because they betrayed their own countries. They were basically mercenaries for the U.S. government. They basically sided with the U.S. government to fight their own people in exchange for citizenship, in exchange for government contracts. So these people are infidels. If you can't trust them to side with their own people, what makes you think they won't betray you? So anyway, yeah, oppressed people want to be the oppressors. And I talked about that before with which article was that? I think it was John Jacques Rousseau. Yeah, it was John Jacques Rousseau who basically explained that. But anyway, I'm not going to go. So I was talking to him about the invasion of Iraq. I was in the military when that happened, and I was strongly against that war. And I explained a lot of stuff, and he sat up there agreeing with and co-signing with everything that I said. Right. Then he went behind my back and told my employer that I was anti-Semitic and this and that. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm trying to side with you. I'm trying to empathize with you and what you're. And basically, he doesn't give a shit because he's not. He doesn't even care about his own people, right? And he's not the only one. A lot of them think this way. They worship America. They worship the U.S. dollar. They basically want to come here, marry an American white woman, and then try to assimilate into the American culture, and then throw black people under the bus. So I'm sorry, y'all. I know that the Palestinians are oppressed, and I'm sure that they're not the ones who are exploiting black people. But at the end of the day, they are part of the Muslim and Arab community, and there's so many Arabs who have billions and trillions of dollars who could do something to help them, and they're not doing jack shit. Why should you risk your livelihood to help these people when you're still at the damn bottom? I mean, you sit up here and you post this shit on social media how you stand in solidarity with the Palestinians, and then you know who writes your damn checks, right? I mean, I'm not going to say it, but you know who writes your checks. You sit up here and say all this shit on social media, and then when they screen you and find out that you said all this shit, and they say that you're anti-Semitic, and then you can't feed your damn children, what are you going to do? And are any of these people going to help you? Any of these billionaires who live in America, who are living in a lap of luxury, traveling, and they have these yachts and shit? What are any of those people going to do? What have any of these people ever done for the black community? I know this sounds harsh. It is what it is. Don't do it, because even if you do speak on behalf of them, it's not going to help them anyway. What can you do as an individual, right? The only thing you can do is try to vote. You can vote people like Joe Biden out of office, right? Joe Biden is crooked as hell. Joe Biden, and the reason that they support Israel is because Israel basically does their dirty work. America is in on this shit. They know exactly what's going on. They want to keep Israel in power so that Israel can basically, you know how they keep talking about how we need to support Israel because it's the only democracy in that region. It's not a damn democracy. They don't even have the right to freedom of speech. If Israelis criticize the Israeli government, they're going to be beaten up and thrown in cages just like anybody else. So it's not a democracy. It's a racist, fascist state. It's very violent and brutal, but they keep the Arabs in check. So they're doing the dirty work. America wants to be seen as this benevolent do-gooders, so they're not going to get their hands dirty. But what we are going to do is send billions of dollars to Israel so that they can do the dirty work and we can keep our hands clean. So why are we still sending billions of dollars to Israel annually? Clearly, we're getting something out of it. Israel is trying to expand throughout the Middle East, Jordan and a couple of other countries, and they were also trying to join the African Union. Why would Israel be joining the African Union, other than the fact that they wanted to exploit Africa's resources? So, um, the African Union actually kicked Israel out. Um, I believe that was like in April of this year or something. So I saw that shit because they were planning this since like 2020. And I was wondering why any of these big content creators weren't talking about how Israel was trying to join the African Union. But no, those Africans were at least smart enough to reject their dirty money. What's a lie? They are colon. Listen, I'm not saying that Israel is right. Israel is 100% wrong. They are colonizers. That land does not belong to them. They'll sit up there and say that, oh, they are native to Palestine. No, the hell you're not. If you were native, then you would be biologically adapted to that region. You're not native, which is why you would burn in the sun. You need to get sunscreen because you are not native. This is not your native land. A lot of these people are pure European. They came from Eastern Europe, and they try to make it seem like they left. Gosh, I don't want to say too much without. If I say too much, it's going to sound racist. But basically, if your mother is Jewish, then you're Jewish. So it's not even about a pure lineage, right? You could be whitewashed so far down to where you have almost no gosh, no actual Hebrew blood in you. And but because your mother is Jewish, then she can marry or have procreate with a European, and then that offspring can procreate with another European, and then or maybe 300 generations down the line, they're still claiming that they're Jewish. And it's like, no, you're not. And I mean, even if you are Jewish, you're not native from that land. Your genetics are not you're not indigenous. Israel being a woke democracy, that's a lie. No, they're not a democracy. Um, Okay. I'm sure somebody's going to say some shit, but I'm trying to be real careful because there's plenty more that I could say, but I don't want to get this video taken down. But at the end of the day, they are not indigenous and they all know it. And even when you ask them, there's interviews on YouTube where you ask them, are you indigenous? And they'll say, no. They don't believe that they are. Okay, there's a difference between the Zionists and the Orthodox Jews. The Orthodox Jews are telling the truth. They know good and damn well that they're not indigenous to Israel. Look up the Jews for Palestine and listen to what they say. They talk about how you're not, according to the Torah, they're not supposed to establish a home state until the Messiah returns. So they're supposed to be dispersed throughout the entire globe. They're not supposed to have um, a home state. So these Zionists are not even Orthodox. They don't even follow the damn Torah. These people, they don't really have a Jewish identity. They're only using that in order to exploit it so that they can oppress the Palestinians and so they can extract money from the US government. But they don't have any ties. They're not religious. They don't have any real blood ties to that land. Okay, y'all. I don't want to say too much because I'm going to end up getting in trouble. But basically, the only point I want to drive home is that you should not speak up for the Palestinians. Even though Israel is 100% wrong, if you speak up for them, you're not helping them and you're going to be risking your livelihood. So you have all these Jewish people, even Goldman Sachs, they're trying to invest in the black community. They're trying to give black women business opportunities and all that stuff. So why would I mean? I know this sounds exploitive. Maybe black people are exploiting the Jewish community. It is what it is. But if the Jewish people are trying, by the way, the Jewish people do exploit the black community, even with the civil rights movement. They didn't support the civil rights movement because they were pro-black. They did it because they got something out of it. But at the same time, the black community also has something to gain from the Jewish community. And I'm going to say this: when I was in law school and I was about to graduate, there was this Jewish guy who basically offered me a job at his parents' law firm. And I was naive, and I didn't understand the importance of networking, right? I just thought, oh, I don't need your help. I'm going to make it on my own. And man, was I a damn fool because this guy was wealthy. And I didn't know, when you're in law school, you don't realize that these people are wealthy because they dress like everybody else. They live modestly. I didn't know that he was some wealthy Jewish guy with this big law firm that he was going to help me out. That was probably one of the biggest mistakes that I ever made. Out of all those people who I went to law school, that Jewish guy was the only one who offered to help me. None of those black students had any connections. Guys, that was a huge mistake. I should have taken him up on his offer, but at the end of the day, Jews may be, or they may be wrong, but they're going to be more of a benefit to the black community than the Palestinians for sure. Um, what are or Arabs in general? What are Arabs doing to help the black community? Not jack. They're not doing jack shit. No, we don't need their handouts. And actually, one of the reasons they're so upset with the black community is because of their role in the civil rights movement. They did participate in those sit-ins. They were getting sprayed with water hoses to help the black community, but that was only because they were getting something out of it because they knew that the black community had I don't know, we basically had standing to challenge the legal system because we were the most and still are the most oppressed group in America. So by aligning with the black community, they basically got legal protection also for their community by these race neutral policies that were really for the black community. It also benefited the Jewish community. So these were immigrants. Some of them were first or second generation immigrants. They didn't have the standing that black people had. So by aligning themselves with the black community, they were able to get legal protections for themselves by using us as proxies for the Jewish community. So it wasn't a sacrifice. They're going to make it seem like, oh, we were just so long suffering to help the black community. No, it wasn't. They got something out of it. So I don't think that the black community should feel guilty about it or that we owe the Jewish community anything. But at the same time, we don't owe the Palestinians shit either. You know what? I'm going to post the link because maybe somebody else has something they want to say. Okay, let me post a link. I didn't think that I had this much to say, but I just went on a whole rant. So yeah, what the Palestinians are going through is absolutely terrible. They are getting bombed. Um, their homes are being demolished. They're stealing their land. Oh, what I wanted to show y'all. Let me show y'all. Why didn't it come up? Okay. Oh, it was just there. Gosh. Okay, so that is the map of Israel and Palestine. Y'all see this? And they're going to say that this is a myth. It's not a myth. It's not a myth. Um, and I would like to address this, but I'm very short on time. I'm going to be working double shifts tomorrow and Tuesday. I want to address this, but there's so much that I want to say. I just don't have time to do the content the way that I want. So, um, that's Palestine in 1946. In 1948, that's when they got their statehood, and then from there, they have been doing nothing but taking more and more land from Palestine. And their argument is that, well, Palestine is not a recognized state because they basically jumped the gun, right? They got Israel recognized as a state with the help of Britain and the US, right? So because and when it comes to property, it's about who records it, right? Even when it comes to deeds, right? If you record your deed first, right, and they have record states and they have deed states. If you record it first, in a lot of states, then if you record it, then you get priority when it comes to claiming ownership. So because Israel was recognized as a state first, they're claiming that Palestine basically is illegitimate. And until Palestine is recognized as a state, they basically have no human rights. Um, let's go back. Nobody posted the link. Okay, then I guess nobody wants to comment. Okay. Well, hopefully I don't think I said anything too controversial. Um, Even those who are pro-Israel, I'm just basically saying the facts. Israel is wrong. You know good and damn well Israel is wrong. And I'm not telling black people to speak out against Israel. I'm telling them to basically not say anything. So I don't see any reason why this video should be taken down. I'm not saying anything that's anti-Semitic. Um, well, if no one has anything to say, I guess I'm going to end this live stream because I do have another one planned for later. And I do want to come back. Gosh, I wish I had more time. I do want to explain to y'all about how these settlements are being um, taken by Israel. Anyway, if I have time, I'll try to do that. But I do have another one planned for 7 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream so I can take some notes and get ready for that one. So I'll see y'all a little bit later. Yes, we should stay in our own lane. I'm not don't you don't need to lie, you don't need to try to say some shit that isn't true. Just don't say anything. That's the safest bet. I think there's plenty of Jewish people who support Palestine. They can do it because they're not going to be accused of being anti-Semitic. There's plenty of wealthy Arabs that can do it, but as black people, I think we're too far down on the bottom of the totem pole to be speaking up on behalf of anyone. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later.